Hey, and half a day, everybody. Jason Salas here, and you are out there online and on the air. Thank you so much for checking out KUM News Extra for tonight. And we have an amazing story to lead off our show, because if you are someone who is even remotely creative, if you have a passion for Guam in your heart, then we need you, because your creativity is being solicited, because the University of Guam Press, that wonderful organization, and Guam DOE are putting together a social studies book. And we need your contributions. And when I say we, I mean my good friend Maneka Flores, who is, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say we, because you're doing all the hard work on this. It's our pleasure to have you here.
It's great that you're taking ownership of such an innovative and significant project. It really is a community-driven project, so thanks for
Well, social studies books,
taking ownership of this. Yeah.
Social studies, I must admit, was never my best subject, but they're always very illustration rich, photography rich, and that's kind of like what sells the topic, right? So what are you looking for exactly?
Well, so like you were mentioning, the University of Guam Press is working in collaboration with the Department of Education to create new social studies textbooks for Guam's elementary public schools from kinder through fifth. We've got an amazing team of artists and a wonderful group of highly skilled teachers in curriculum and classroom instruction who are also, working together to create these new textbooks. And this is such an important project for Guam because historically, territories aren't really represented in a lot of the American curriculum that we get. And so this project is going to create some new books that are locally and regionally relevant, and books that our kids can see themselves in.
Okay, I am nowhere near any remotely way an artist, but if I could just make my own contribution here, if I could make maybe a suggestion for a title.
Sure.
But like, represent 671, and then like with a little asterisk, social studies for the 9th grader.
Well, maybe, we can consider that for the high school, when we get to high school. But
It's under consideration.
Right now we're focusing on, or maybe middle school, we're focusing on elementary. We're starting with elementary, grades K through the 5th grade, kindergarten through 5th grade. And so one of the goals of the project is also to include the voices and the perspectives of Guam's youth. And so this particular effort that we're doing is an art and writing contest that is where we're looking for artwork and creative writing by those Guam public school students in elementary school. So that's just one of the ways we're trying to engage the community in contributing creative work to the project, but certainly we're always looking for other artists and writers to work with, and we'll be continuing to do that as the project
Awesome.
progresses.
Okay, and I've done enough of these types of interviews for private industry where they say, we have a poster contest, or we have a photography contest, or we have a digital art contest. Every time you do that, there's going to be enough contributions, Maneka, to fill a book unto itself. So that's a very wonderful problem to have, I'm sure, with all the contributions you're going to get.
Right. Well, in this case, we really want students to respond to a particular question. And the question is, what makes our island home a special place to live, and what can we do to take better care of it? And they can respond, in a poem, a short story, an essay, a photo, or they can use any medium they want to, on like an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, to answer that question and explore it in a creative way. Okay, now
I mentioned digital before because kids these days probably master Photoshop, which took me like even 4 years to be able to open. They've got that figured out before they can even write cursive these days, if kids even write cursive.
Oh
anymore.
No, definitely digital.
Yeah. So
art.
Can they submit digital submissions as well?
Yes, absolutely. And
sweet.
Yes, I mean, it would be amazing to get a piece from a young person, a digital piece from any piece from a young person. And so it's as long as the piece really explores the question, maybe the different ways that the students help their villages, their families, their schools, and really something that represents Guam and the region. So something that represents what it's like to live here. And we're looking for their ideas, we're looking for how Guam and the region are represented in their answers, and of course their skills. And so the beauty about this contest is the selected pieces will be included in the published textbooks, the published social studies textbooks. So these young people will get to see their work in these textbooks, and their work will be enjoyed by students all over Guam.
For generations to come, I'm assuming.
Yes, we hope that would be wonderful. And
okay, so kids, there's not that many parameters with this. Ms. Maneka is just setting up, exactly what you have to do, but you have total creative control when it comes to putting this. You may say, my family has gone to this church, for the last 50 years. This is, this is the parish I belong to. This is the fiesta we host every single year. This is this is how I almond my nana every single time we go up to
Those
grandma's
are some
house.
great examples,
Yeah.
and we definitely.
I'm just thinking of use cases and everything, but yeah, be creative with it and everything like that. It's a chance to capture our history.
Yeah, we really encourage students to be as creative as possible, and again, their works will be published in the books, but then the winners, the selected pieces, will also receive a small honoraria and a selection of local books published by the University of Guam Press.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
So there is a prize for this.
Yes, there are prizes.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And that is incredibly valuable too, because you folks at UOG Press are doing so much amazing work to chronicle and document the way of life here. And like you said, I mean, there isn't a lot of representation of what we do here. So to be able to infuse that with a traditional, I guess you would call it a pedagogy.
Absolutely, we have an opportunity here to talk about our own history, our political history, as well as our cultural history. We have an opportunity to talk about values, true moral values. We have an opportunity to see ourselves in these books. And the thing is, as I mentioned earlier, for example, the social studies textbooks that we usually get from the States, they don't really use the words territory and colony. These things are like, in terms of territory, expanding westward, or a colony, something of the past. And the thing is these are realities that we live. And so for our young people to understand who we are and our place in the world, we need to talk about these things. And so it's an exciting opportunity, and all the more so to include young people's writing, their voices, and their images, their creative work in the books. I mean, we're going to have historical photos, we're going to have maps, we're going to have artwork by some of Guam's masters in these books, and some young emerging artists. And so this is a chance to have some of those young emerging artists being the actual elementary school students in Guam's public schools.
Okay, my friend, I just got two more questions real quick before we got to run. One, when are you looking at publishing this wonderful work? And then two, for people watching us right now, is there a website, a social media account where people can go to find out more?
Well, this project actually, so GDOE and UOG entered into a memorandum of agreement just last year, and so the project is getting off really from is just getting off into its first year. It's a multi-year project, about 3 years we're looking at, and developing a website is something we're actually going to work on. But people can follow UOG Press, all of our social media. Instagram, Facebook, or or email or call us if they want to learn more. But there are going to be other calls, other ways that the community can participate in the development.
I like your Instagram, by the way.
Of these books. Oh, thanks.
It's very nice.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay. Well, we got to run, but thank you so much for making this available, and we're going to catch up with you some more as the project continues.
Thanks so much. And just real quick, the deadline to enter is March 31st, so people can call us at